Hi everyone, Jasmine here. I am super excited to be here with you guys today so that we can talk about some of your top blogging questions and I can get answers to you. So before we get started, I always like to do a quick intro for those of you who this may be your first time joining me for one of my Q&A sessions. Hi, I'm Jasmine. I've been blogging for a little over a decade and I have two blogs, one called Miscellanea Magazine that I got started right out of college. And then my second is Blogging Money Life, which I have with my husband, Chris. And we talk about how to make money blogging, as well as some other blogging tips. And then like to talk about our lifestyle, moving from the United States to Costa Rica and living as, I guess, immigrants. We're immigrants to another country and trying it out and going from there. So we have a lot of content on our blog about that, as well as our YouTube channel. And that's where a lot of you are watching this today. So hi, it's nice to meet you. I love blogging. I love talking about blogging. So the fact that you guys decided to be here with me today to talk about one of my most favorite things in the world means so much to me. So thanks for being here. I am going to answer your questions today that you may have in regard to blogging. So as they come up, feel free to post them in the chat on the side here, and I will answer them in real time. Now, I noticed that we do have some questions that came in earlier today, so I'm so excited about that. I will make sure to start with those questions there. But I also have a few questions from our Facebook group. I have a Facebook group called Bloggers Supporting Bloggers, and it's exactly what it sounds like. We have different threads there every day so that you can get more traffic to your blog posts, more likes and engagement on your social posts. And then we have some other threads as well where we talk about getting backlinks to different articles, growing your YouTube channels, a ton of things. So definitely check out the Bloggers Supporting Bloggers Facebook group. There is some good information there. I'm going to go ahead and put the link to the group here in case you guys have not seen it. So definitely check that out. But the reason I bring that up is because I'm going to be talking about some of the questions we received in the group this month as well. I do have a weekly Q&A chat there, and people post their questions and we get answers from other bloggers, and I jump in to answer sometimes. But when I can't, I make sure to get in this video and get these questions answered for my Blogger Supporting Bloggers members. So I'm going to answer those questions today as well. And then something I always bring to the table, because you never know how this is going to go in regard to who's going to show up, who's not. I always have a topic that I like to discuss and just teach you guys something that is on my mind that may be interesting to you as well. So I'll be talking about that as well. But I love how many questions there already are. So I'm going to start there with the questions that we got earlier today, some of the questions that we're getting right now, and start answering some questions. I'm going to start from the top. Okay, so our first question comes from Lois. Hey, Lois. She says, it has taken 4 months to get ads permission, working on getting sponsors. That is hard to qualify. That is hard to qualify. It has taken 4 months to get ads permissions, working on getting sponsors. That is hard to qualify. I'm not sure I understand the question here. I guess what you're asking is it usually this difficult to qualify for different sponsor posts opportunities? I know, Lois, you took my course for Blogging Money Formula, where I show you how to set up the basics on your blog so that you can start monetizing it for sponsored posts. And I know that I do have a number of steps I say you want to make sure you have implemented on your blog before you start trying to monetize, just to make sure you have your ducks in a row. And I'm guessing that that's something that you're referring to in regards to like getting your blog set up to qualify for sponsors. I'll give you guys an overview of what I think when it comes to being able to make money with sponsors. You don't have to have a ton of traffic. You don't have to have blogged for 6 months or a year. All you have to do is make sure you have your basics done. And some of those basics include, do you have a work for me page or work with me page on your website? Do you have a consistent blog schedule, whether that be one article a week or one article a month? That's something you want to make sure that you have ready to go. before you start trying to monetize. So those are just some of the things that I think about when it comes to the sponsor post being ready. Oh, Lois qualified. I mean, she clarified here. She said it's hard to qualify for sponsorships. Okay, so when you say qualify, I'm guessing you're talking about different influencer networks. And yeah, it can vary depending on what network you're on, because I know some ask for like, oh, you have to have 10,000 Instagram subscribers. Those are the only people we want. You have to have at least this many before you apply to this opportunity. And I'm going to tell you a secret. They don't all mean it. Like for a lot of these brands, they're like, well, I think this is the type of influencer I want to work with. But a lot of them have never worked with influencers before. What matters more than having a number of followers, is having quality. So if you have a smaller blog, but you know your niche, you know that you're targeting a specific person that this audience is also targeting. I'll give you an example. Let's say, for example, you are a knitting blog. Now that is something very, very specific. And you have a yarn company reach out to you and they say, yeah, we want to work with you because you fit, but we want you to have 10,000 Instagram followers. Most brands are going to be like, I don't care about the Instagram followers. You fit exactly what I'm looking for. Your audience is exactly, I don't care if you only have, 5,000 people on your email list or only 5,000 people come to your site every month. I care that you have my target audience. So I say all this to say, if you're applying for opportunities on sponsored networks and they say you need to have 10,000 Instagram followers to qualify for this opportunity, but you only have 5,000, but you think that you're a good fit for that campaign, apply anyway. I can't tell you how many times I've applied for opportunities where I didn't qualify. Technically, I didn't qualify based on what they were saying, but I knew that I would be a good fit for this brand and I get accepted to it. So the only things that you know for sure you're not going to get are the things you don't apply for. So I say, go ahead and apply, even if it says you don't qualify for those opportunities. And then Lois says Google ads are hard too. As far as like qualifying for Google ads, I'm guessing is what you're looking for. So if that's the case, what I would say is make sure you understand why you're not qualifying for Google ads. Sometimes it's, like, for example, you can't set your blog up today and sign up for Google ads tomorrow. Google doesn't know who you are. They haven't had an opportunity to crawl your site yet. So yeah, there are some occasions where that's the case, but if you've been around for a while, I'm guessing more than 3 months, then Google is probably picking up on something on your site that they think that is not a good fit. So when it comes to that, just make sure you're understanding what it is that Google doesn't like. I know I got flagged for something for Google once because I had, I think I had an article about gambling on my site from like years back, and I completely forgot about it. It was an article someone wrote for me, and I didn't think it was a big deal. But then I realized like Google will kick you off their ad platform or not qualify you at all. So it's good to remove that content. And once I removed it, I qualified. And even if you don't qualify for Google ads and you're like, fine, I'll go to another channel, something you should know is a lot of these other channels, they check to see if you can qualify for Google ads first before they start accepting you to their programs, because some of the ads that they're running on their channels are also through Google ads. So just something to keep in mind too. Oh, you said yes through Ezoic. Yeah, so this is a perfect example. Like, even if you're not going through Google ads, it's a possibility that you may not qualify for them for another platform. So whatever it is that Google is telling you is a problem for why you don't qualify, you want to make sure you figure that out and fix it. You could do a quick search like how to qualify for Google ads or reasons people don't qualify for Google ads. And they have some pretty basic rules when it comes to certain things. And I would just change it. Whatever it is they don't like, as long as it's not some big, upheaval of your website, I would just change whatever is bothering them so you can qualify, because that's going to hurt you down the road when you want to qualify for bigger ad channels like AdThrive or Mediavine. All right, so good question. Let's move on to Selfless Esteem. Oh, I love that name. All right, how do you update an old post? Do you open a new post so that when you publish it, Google will notice it as new, but then won't both the old and new posts be in your blog? Oh, all right. This is a good question because there was recently an update in WordPress that kind of threw me off when it came to updating content, but honestly, I kind of like it. So what I used to do is I would just start working on a draft of my post that is currently published and just start working on it on my own, but I wouldn't save it, right? I would save it into a Google Doc or something. And then when I was ready to publish it, I will publish it. Now, something that that WordPress has now is if you say, I want to republish this article, there's a button you select. And it automatically creates two separate versions of that same article. So you can start editing that article within WordPress and save it. You can come back to it the next day or do your research, whatever, how long it takes you to edit that article. And the original article still stays on your site. So there's no downtime between you fixing that old article and the old article that is already up and getting traffic to your site. Now, once you finally finish the article, like editing it, you hit republish and it automatically updates the article that is already live on your site. The only thing I don't like about this feature is it doesn't automatically update the date. I do change the date and make it so that it's published on that day instead of it going to the old date when it was originally published, because I like when I republish content for it to show up on my homepage. So that's the only thing that I would change. But yes, technically, there is an old and new post on your blog temporarily while you're working on updating your content. But that's only like that until you hit republish, and then it replaces the old article that's on your site. So I think that's the question that you were asking. Let me know if I got it wrong, but I think that's the answer. How do you update an old post? Do you open a new post so that when you publish it? But then one. Okay, so yeah, the new update in WordPress should solve this problem, so you don't have to worry about an article that's getting traffic losing traffic because you have it down and working on it. But if you don't have this update on your site, because I think it depends on what WordPress version you have. What I used to do is update it in a Google Doc and then move it over to WordPress once it was ready. All right. Lurleen says, hi. And she has great questions. What about Pinterest? I'm having such a hard time with it this year. Yeah, Pinterest, I think, is difficult for everyone. So don't feel bad if you're having a hard time with Pinterest. So that's something that has been a struggle for a lot of bloggers. And I'm going to let you in on a secret. There is this myth that Pinterest is not good anymore, right? Pinterest has made so many stupid changes to their platform recently. And I know they're just experimenting, they're testing things out. But Pinterest is still a huge driver of traffic for a lot of bloggers. Now, what I'm trying to figure out is the people who are still getting traffic from Pinterest, is it because they were here in the good old days when it was easier to get traffic from Pinterest? Or is it because they're new and they're getting started with the best practices with Pinterest now and those same things are working? I think it can be a little bit of both. I speak from experience where for my blog, Miss Melanie Magazine, one I started 10 years ago, is doing awesome. When it comes to traffic, my number one is organic and my second is Pinterest. So Pinterest is killing it in regard to getting regular traffic. And I'm talking today. Today, I still get a ton of traffic from Pinterest. But when I look at my new blog, Blogging Money Life, I have not put in all the optimization things that I could do for Pinterest on that blog, and I'm not getting as much traffic from Pinterest. So I can't say that I'm putting in the same work and getting the same amount of traffic with Pinterest on this blog compared to that one. So that's not giving it a fair shot. But I am going to experiment with that this month. And who knows, maybe that'll be my topic I talk to you guys about next month, about how it worked with some of the optimization strategies. And when it comes to Pinterest, as far as getting more traffic, my number one tip I like to give is using Tailwind. Honestly, like a lot of people have kicked Tailwind to the curb because Pinterest hasn't been doing all that well. I personally love Tailwind. For those of you who don't know what Tailwind is, it is a social media sharing platform that was created originally for Pinterest, right? And now they're trying to go into other channels other than Pinterest, like Instagram, and I think they even have kind of like a Canva type of tool within the platform. I don't use any of that stuff. What I do use in Tailwind is their Tailwind communities. And pretty much what this is it's very similar to when you are posting in a Facebook group where you say, here's my pin, and if you share my pin, I'll share your pin. Except this tool actually tracks it. So you can't be in one of these platforms, in one of these communities, if you're not sharing. You'll get kicked out. So it's a nice 1-for-1 ratio, and it's easy to keep track of what you shared and how much you've shared of other people's stuff. And I am seeing that even with my new blog, I am seeing traffic from Tailwind communities. That is something I know for sure works. And the more communities you're in, the better, because then it gives you an opportunity to get your pins out to more people, and they can share your pins. And then the people who are sharing your pins have traffic on their blogs, and now they're sending that traffic from their Pinterest accounts to your Pinterest account. So even if some of the old strategies don't work as well anymore with Pinterest, Tailwind communities still do, because the people who are still getting traffic from Pinterest are using Tailwind communities. And those are the people that you want to share your pins, because you want to get some of their traffic that they're getting from Pinterest. I hope that made sense the way I'm spelling that out. But that is the one thing I know for sure works. And as far as some of the other organic strategies you can do on Pinterest, I'll get back to you next month and tell you how my experiment works out. But I think that's a really, really good question when it comes to Pinterest, because it's tough. I want to jump back in because I know that I saw another question from Selfless Esteem in regard to the republishing post. And she said, how do you change the date? And for those of you who just joined, we talked about how to do a republish post in WordPress. And one thing I don't like about how they set this up is that it doesn't automatically update the date. So on the right side of WordPress, you can choose the gear. There's a little gear icon. And when you click on that, you have the option to choose block or post, and you want to choose post. And when you choose post, it shows you some information about that article, such as what is the date that it was originally published, what is the URL for this article, in case you wanted to share it with someone else. And what you want to do is look at that section that says date, and it's going to have the date that you published this article, maybe a year ago or maybe 6 months ago. And you click on that, and it lets you adjust it. And that's where you change the date for a republished article. And like I said, I do that for every article I republish, especially when I'm doing a big republish, like adding new content to the article or removing big sections from it or adding new keywords or things like that. So that's how you change the date when you're going through that process. So I hope that helps. All right, you guys, keep these questions coming. I think that these are awesome, and I'm loving this engagement. All right, I'm moving back down the line here. Lorene Barnes has another question, or Lorene has another question for us. How do I get rid of spammers coming on my blog? It seems like all my visitors are just spammers, and it's so frustrating. Oh, yeah, that is so frustrating. I'm going to ask you a clarifying question. For the spammers that you're getting, how do you know they're spammers? Is it because of the data you're seeing in Google Analytics, or are these the people who are going to your comments and adding a bunch of garbage to the comment section? Because that's going to be important too when it comes to how to solve this problem. Because I know the pain that is spammers. They're so annoying. So I'll let you answer me there. She says the comments. All right, cool. Let's talk about the comments. They are a necessary evil, right? Comments are great because they allow you to get engagement on your content, but they're also awful because then you have people who are posting like crazy stuff in your comments that are obviously spam, talking about who knows what, that has nothing to do with the content or your blog. So what I do is I turn on the option to filter comments. So anyone who comments on any blog post on my site, it will not publish automatically until I approve it. And I know that's a little bit of a pain because like who wants to go through and approve comments every day, right? What's nice though, is if you're using WordPress, when you turn this option on, you get a little notification on your sidebar, just like you would get a notification if you have a plugin that needs to be updated. And in that sidebar, you have the option to look at all your comments that you've gotten on all of your content to approve. And I usually just go through and see, all right, spam, spam, spam. Oh, this is an actual comment. Approve, and let that actually go through on the article. So that's the only way that I found to do that, to like get rid of the spammers. I know it got really bad at one point for my first blog, Miss Millennia, to the point I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't approve 50 plus comments a day. So what I did is I signed up for a tool called Discuss, and that's spelled Disqus. And what Discuss does is a little bit more of a smart commenting platform. You can hook it up in a plugin on your website, and it does this part for you. So it kind of it's able to track what is spam and what's not, and it approves the ones that are obviously good comments, and then it filters the ones that are not for your approval. So that way you don't have to worry about, oh, are some people's comments not coming through because I'm not approving these fast enough, especially if you're getting a ton of it. So I would say look into Discuss. I do think there is a fee for using it, so use it wisely. But if you are getting a lot of engagement on your blog, it may be worth looking into. But if not, just turn it on so that no comments can come through until they're approved by you, and just make a point to spend 5-10 minutes a day reading through them, and keeping the ones that are in spam and trash, and then approving the ones that are not. So that is my feedback on how to do that. I'm sorry you're dealing with that though, because I know it is such a pain. Another question from Lurleen: is RankIQ a monthly subscription? Yes, it is. And for those of you who don't know what RankIQ is, it is a platform that I currently use when it comes to my keyword research for my blog. I've been using RankIQ now for maybe 3 or 4 months, and I have seen substantial growth on my blog for Blogging Money Life. And it's nice because it's a newer blog. We've only been around for a little over a year. And what's great about RankIQ is it allows me to find the keywords that I'm going to rank for the fastest, write an article about it. It tells me how many words I should have in that article. And it also tells me what keywords. I have a long list of keywords to add to it. And it's super, super basic, really easy to understand. If you've never done SEO or keyword research or used any other tool, it was made by a blogger, which is great. And it's made specifically to help you rank and get traffic to your site. Is it a monthly subscription? Yes, you do have to pay a monthly fee for it. The lowest cost plan is $29 a month. I think you have to start with a $49 a month for 16 reports, and that's pretty much 16 different articles that you can write in a month. But if you sign up and you realize like this is too many for what I have, you can downgrade your account to $29 a month. So it's super affordable and it works. I've seen it work. I've convinced my blogging buddies to do it as well, and they're using it and having good results as well. So yes, it's a monthly subscription. But if you decide that this isn't working for you, or I don't want to do this anymore, then you can always cancel it. There's no risk as far as like, oh, I use this for a month and now I don't want it anymore. So you can just get rid of it. So that's another pro of it being a monthly subscription. Okay, good question. Oh, we already went through this one for a little. It's hard to qualify for sponsorship. Okay. Lurleen said, oh, I want to take your course, Blogging Money Formula. How much is it? That's a good question. So Blogging Money Formula is where I teach bloggers how to make money with their blogs. It's primarily focused on sponsored posts. And my story behind that is that's how I started making money with my blog. To give you an idea of where I was making I had 1,000 page views a month to my blog. I was still hand coding the stupid site, and I had no idea what I was doing. And I still managed to make $50 from a sponsored post on my blog. So I learned from that you can absolutely still make money with your blog, even if you're new, even if you don't have a whole lot of traffic. It's just about finding the right brands who want the audience that you're targeting. And I go over not just how to work with brands, but how to set your blog up in a way so that you are getting the audience you want, and then how to get that audience to the brands, in front of the brands, and say, hey, look, don't you want my audience? This is how much it costs to post on my website. So that's what Blogging Money Formula is about. The feedback that I've gotten from it a lot is it's really good just for basic setup of your blog and understanding some of those basic things, so that you can be ready to do other things like monetize in other ways, not just sponsored posts, affiliates, products, things like that. It's just a good course in that regard. I will get the link for Blogging Money Formula for you, and I will share that in the chat. But good question. Money Formula. So yeah, I'll grab the link for you once I find it because I don't have it offhand, unfortunately. All right. Question. Nice. I like you guys are all chatting with each other. Yay. Marlene says, thanks for answering all of my questions. I was getting so frustrated with blogging and I was about to give up. You literally saved me. I feel so inspired now to keep going. Marlene, you know how to get me right in the heart bone. Like that's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. And if you're not already in my Facebook group, join there too. I'll be sure to answer your questions in our weekly Q&A chats that we have, if you ever have any. And yeah, I'll make sure to share the Blogging Money Formula course link in the chat here, probably at the end of this conversation, just so I won't be too distracted in talking to you guys. So yay, so glad I was able to answer all your questions. Wow, so that was awesome, you guys. So like I said, something I want to do, I want to go over some of the questions I got in the Blogger Supporting Bloggers Facebook group. And then I'm gonna spend the last few minutes talking about something that's really cool to me. And that is talking through getting more people to your email list and doing that with lead magnets. So that's something I want to talk about today. I'm going to show some cool things that I've done with my blog, Miss Millennia, and the email provider that I use to do that. All right, let's go over the couple of questions that we got in the Blogger Supporting Bloggers group. So the first question is, how do I get more views on my Pinterest pins? I think we already talked about that one today. So my advice, using Tailwind communities is awesome. It most certainly still works, even if there are some views that Pinterest isn't as great or Tailwind isn't as great, but I'm still seeing good traction from it, even on my new blog. So I think that's an easy way to get more views to your Pinterest pins. Someone else said, so I created an anonymous blog and Facebook page. How do I get likes to them? My Facebook page has 0 friends on it, which makes it look fake. I just didn't want to use my real Facebook page. How do I go about adding friends? That's a good question, and it's a tough pickle to be in, right? Because I think for a lot of people, the first things they do is say, hey, friends, go and like my Facebook page so I can get some people on here to like it. So that is a little bit of a tough pickle. Something that I like to do when it comes to getting any traction to any new social media account that I'm doing is I do cross promotion, right? So if you have a blog, you should have the ability to put in some share buttons. I have them at the very top right corner of my Miss Millennia blog and my Blogging Money Life blog, where I say, follow me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, right? So that's a good opportunity for you. It can also be a call to action on some of your blog posts. So maybe you create a little box that you can add to all of your articles that says, like this article, great, follow me on Facebook. So that's another way that you can do that by promoting it on your blog. Something else I like to do is on my other social media channels is promote another social channel. So if you have a social media channel that is already doing well, definitely go ahead and share, hey, thanks so much for following me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook as well. And that's usually a good way to get people to follow you. Same thing with your email list or any other channels that you do have some traction. Share things there so that you can get more traction to your Facebook page. Other than that, you may want to run a Facebook ad. I know they have ads specific for growing your page. And what's nice about doing the ad is that you can focus on the audience you actually want, right? So if you know that you're focused on people who knit and a certain age range, you can target those people and make sure that those are the people who are coming to your Facebook page to like it. So those campaigns usually do really well on Facebook, and they're fairly inexpensive too, compared to if you want to do like a conversion advertisement. So yeah, those are a couple of things that I would do to make sure that I'm growing my Facebook page. So I think that's a really good question and something that could be a little difficult. And even if you don't have this specific problem, if you're looking to get some traffic to your blog, to your social channels, that's a way to do it. Someone asked, where have you found good writers and what is the cost per word? I have looked for writers in a couple of places and I'll tell you what they are. The first one is Upwork, and that's pretty much a website where you get freelancers and you can hire people to do a ton of things, from like posting on social media for you to writing blog posts to managing your blog completely for you. So Upwork is another place, and Fiverr is another one. And Fiverr is really cool. It's very similar to Upwork, except for it's on Upwork. I post a job and I say, I am looking for this specific person. People apply to it. And that's great. What's cool with Fiverr is the other way around, right? People already have a page that says, hey, this is my name. This is what I do. Here's the price that I charge for it. And with they call it Fiverr because it used to be that you can get all these different services for $5. You want someone to sing happy birthday to you, it's $5. You want someone to create a Pinterest pin for you, it's $5. Now on Fiverr, you can get stuff for $5, yes, but sometimes you can get things for thousands of dollars, which I have done. I spent thousands of dollars on a specific service on Fiverr. But it's a good place, depending on how you want to look for your help when it comes to getting writers. Either one is fine. As far as how much they cost, it varies. I'm working with a few writers right now, and I have one where I pay them, I go by every 1,000 words. So there's one that gets paid about $10 for every 1,000 words. I have another who gets paid about $40 for every 1,000 words. And I have another who gets paid around $20 every 1,000 words. And I have different writers with different price points because they have different styles of writing that they do. They have, some of them are better at hitting deadlines than others. Some are just more experienced writers overall. And that is very helpful. So that is something to be mindful of when it comes to paying writers. It just depends. If you are okay with doing a lot more revisions for a particular article and it not being right the first time and maybe having a longer time frame to receive that content, you can probably get someone to write for you for fairly inexpensively. But if you want someone who's going to knock it out right the first time and they're going to do great work, and maybe add some affiliate links in there for you, do some keyword research and things like that, they may be a little bit more expensive. So just keep those things in mind when it comes to finding people to help write for you. All right. And then, is it a bad idea to post the same external link on multiple blog posts? That's interesting. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question because I know it is good. Google does look to see if you have external links as well as internal links on your site. And for those of you who don't understand what that is, an internal link is when I have a blog post and I say, hey, by the way, I have another blog that's about this topic that's kind of related to this. If you want to check it out, click here. That's an internal link and go to the other blog post on my blog. If I write an article that says, did you know that 9 out of 10 women say that this is the best thing ever? And then I link to a website that has that study on it, that's an external link. And what's good about external links is that it gives you credibility. So Google is saying like, wow, they did their research. I'm going to make sure that I give them an extra point for being credible and doing their research, including that information here for this blog post that they put together. So that's why you have an external link on your site. If I link to that same study in one blog post and then it linked to that same study in another blog post, I don't know if it hurts your site or not. But the way I would look at it is it relevant, right? Is it relevant to the content that you're sharing here? I think as long as it is, I don't think you will run into an issue with it using the same link externally on your site. But I could be wrong. So that's my initial gut reaction on that one. So, but I think it's a good question. All right, I have, I think, one more question from the Blogger Supporting Bloggers group. And that is, what is the best way to drive traffic to your blog? I get a little, but really not sure how to let people know I'm even out there. I use Pinterest and get decent monthly views, but it seems not that much traffic. Again, thanks in advance. All right, I'm going to tell you something that I think has had a lot of debate over the years, and I say this for the last 10 years, but I think it's always going to be the main place you want to get your traffic from, Google. You want to get it from search. You want to get it from Bing. You want to get it from Yahoo. And the reason why, there's a couple of reasons why that's good traffic. The first is because it's great traffic, right? Think about someone who's scrolling on Facebook and then they see your article about top 10 recipes for blueberry pie. Nice, right? I may click on it, but it depends. I may just be in the mood to scroll on Facebook. I wasn't really looking for blueberry pie. So I may get to it or not. And if I do, I may not spend much time on it because honestly, I wasn't thinking about blueberry pies. Now, think about someone who I really want to make a blueberry pie and I need to find a blueberry pie recipe. I'm going to search for it on Google and look, your article just came up. You got 9 blueberry pie recipes. Oh, I need to spend some time here and look at this because I need to pick the best blueberry pie recipe so I can cook it. What I usually find when it comes to my search traffic versus my social media traffic, they spend so much more time on my content than my social media traffic. And it's because of the scenario I just described to you, right? They're spending more time there because I was looking for this at this moment. I'm in the right mindset to find the content that you created. So it's excellent traffic. How do you get that traffic? Now you have to be good with search engine optimization. That means the most important thing, there's a lot of things to know about search engine optimization, right? Also known as SEO. You have to have on-page SEO. You have to have off-page SEO. You have to do keyword research. You got to make sure that you include things in your title and then the body of the content. And you have to have alt tags. There's so much like lingo that I think makes it very complicated for bloggers to like get on board with SEO because it seems like a big commitment. But I'll tell you my big secret when it comes to making sure that you get good SEO on your site. And it's just doing keyword research. I think one mistake that a lot of bloggers make is we say, I really want to write an article about fruit pies. I'm going to write an article and talk about why I love fruit pies and why they're awesome. We're thinking about ourselves instead of thinking about the audience that could potentially find this article. And instead, it should be, I want to write an article about pies. Let me do some keyword research about what people are looking for. Oh, it looks like apple pies are trending and a lot of people are looking for an apple pie recipe specifically with cinnamon and butter. I'm going to make an article called How to Make an Apple Pie Recipe with Cinnamon and Butter. And that is how you're going to garner all that traffic because people are looking for it, but there's not a whole lot of people who are writing content about that topic. So you kind of just have to shift the way you think about how you create content. And if you think about it from a keyword first perspective and you're getting good keywords, you're going to get traffic and it's going to happen pretty quickly for you. Now, if you're not sure how to go about getting that traffic, I recommend using RankIQ. I know that I talked about that a little bit before here, but I noticed that they're a fairly new platform, but they're very popular, especially amongst a lot of the blogging communities that I'm in that are making thousands and thousands of dollars per day through advertising and other things. So, and RankIQ is a big one for a lot of them because it's easy. It is super easy to use. It's a simple site. And if you have never learned anything about SEO before, you don't know what you're doing when it comes to SEO, you can jump into RankIQ, watch the 30-minute video that the creator has that shows you how to use this tool and start using it just like that. It's not like SEMrush or Ahrefs where there's like full universities of content that you have to go through before you even use the platform. Not hating on either of those tools because I've used both of them and they are both amazing in their own ways. But if you are new to SEO and you want traffic to your website and you need to do keyword research, but you're kind of like, I have no idea how I'm supposed to do this, RankIQ is a good one for you. Now, if you don't want to spend any money right now on RankIQ or just not spend a whole lot of money, I do have a video that I created that talks about how to do keyword research. And I go into detail about how to do that using a tool called Keywords Everywhere. And Keywords Everywhere is super cheap. I spend like $10 every 6 months to be able to do keyword research with it. And it's a nice tool to get started with keyword research for your content. And I talk about the different types of things you want to look for, or I guess the competition score is something that you want to be mindful of and how much people are looking for it. So here, I'm going to grab the link to that video for you guys if you want to check that out too. Another one that's really good. I really do want to watch. So I just shared the link to that YouTube video here if you're interested in doing more keyword research so you can get more traffic to your content. So yeah, that's my big takeaway when it comes to traffic to content. So yeah, good ones. All really good questions, you guys. Like I'm loving this. Now, I know I just went over a bunch of information. I just answered a lot of questions. If you have more, feel free to post them in the comments here, and I'll get an answer for you because I'm still on here for a little bit. I do want to talk a little bit about how to get your email list created and drive traffic to your email list using what do you call them? Lead magnets, right? So I'm going to share my screen and show you guys a few things on how I do this and kind of go from there. All right, so I'm going to start by sharing my screen if I can get that figured out. Here we go. Okay. So I am going to start with this. Now, one of the things I had trouble with is building my email list. And why is it important to build your email list? Because when you want to promote an affiliate, when you want to promote your product, or if you want to get more traffic to your blog post that just got published, it's good to have people on your email list because now you can just shoot it out to those thousands of people and say, hey, read my content. And you're going to see a spike on that article because you just drove all these people to that content. So I know that's another thing and you don't really understand. You may not understand how it relates exactly to your blog, but believe me, it's important. And it is considered an asset to your organization, your business, your blog. So it is important, guys. The first thing you want to do is create a lead magnet. Now, a lead magnet is something that you give away for free. And what's cool about having a lead magnet is it allows you to get something away for free. People can trust you a little bit more. And now you just got their email address. One of my top lead magnets is a free checklist I give away. It has 150 influencer networks so that you can work with different paid sponsorships. I love this because I spent so many hours like doing this research on my own. I just had this full list of different paid sponsorship channels, and I was always updating it because like some of them go away and then some of them come back. But I keep this up to date, and I gave it away to so many of my blogging buddies. I said, hey, I could probably just give this away for free and start getting email addresses. So that's exactly what I did. I created a quick little landing page for it using lead pages. And something I like about lead pages, I don't think it's something necessary that you need to have. You can definitely like make free lead pages using like Instapage or using ConvertKit or MailerLite, whatever email tool you use. But what I like about lead pages is it allows me to see how many visitors are going to that page, what my conversion rate is, and just being able to keep an eye on that. And something I like too is they have little charts, which is something I don't necessarily get with ConvertKit, unfortunately. But I do like this. I can see what my conversion rate is. And this becomes important when you start selling products because you do want to make sure that you're paying attention to conversion rates so that you can know if this is where I'm having issues in my funnel, right? But, not necessary. It's just something I do, and I like to monitor that. So what I do is I send people to this page. Right now, you may be thinking like, all right, you created a page for how you can get people to it. You are probably familiar with like when you are creating a blog post, you need to create blog post images, right? You create like a Facebook image for it. You create a Pinterest image for it. And I do that exact same thing for my freebies. I create Facebook posts, Facebook images, Pinterest images, Twitter images, and then I make sure to put those into my rotation of content I'm sharing. So whatever tool you use to share blog posts on your social media channels, go ahead and create some of those images for your lead magnet, and you start sharing that as well. And you will start to see that people are going to sign up for your lead magnet. Now, there's a few other places that I like to share my lead magnet. You may notice here, I do have a little box inside all of my articles that says, hey, sign up for my influencer network list that pays bloggers. So I get a lot of people who sign up there. I also get it at the bottom of my content, this little sign up form here. So that's another great place. Like I said, I'm sharing it on my social media channels. So that's good too, to make sure that you're sharing it there. And then once you get people into your funnel, I like to use ConvertKit myself, and I'll share the link to my affiliate account for ConvertKit as well, because this is another tool that I love because it was made by another blogger. And or it was made specifically for creators, right? Same thing like RankIQ. It was created for bloggers in mind. And those are the best tools to use, in my opinion, because they're always updating them and they're making sure that they stay relevant to what's changing in our environment. I can tell you, I've worked with other mail service providers. Like AweWeber was one that I used for a while and I loved it. But when there was a big change with how things were done on Google or Facebook, I couldn't do all the things I wanted to do with my email because they didn't have those options. What I love about ConvertKit is they're always updating. So that's something that I like. And then something else I really like about ConvertKit is that it allows me, like I said, to create different forms, but I can also create landing pages on here. My landing page for this one is not in ConvertKit, it's in Lead Pages, but I can show you really quick some of my forms that I've had in ConvertKit that are pretty awesome. So my landing pages, I mean, here's one I made for 50 books that all women should read. And this is something else that I like to have for ConvertKit. So this just shows you, like, you don't necessarily need, like I said, you don't need lead pages to do this. It's super simple how it's set up, and I get a pretty decent amount of people who sign up for this. So yeah, there's a number of things you can do in ConvertKit that are nice. This isn't a good example because it's like out of I should find one that's a little bit more up to date for you guys so you can see what some of my landing pages look like. I have one for my blog monetization tracker. Oh, that's just a form. And that's one thing I will complain about ConvertKit about, is because sometimes it's hard to tell the form from the landing page. So here's one. This is a landing page. And no, it's not. I lied. All right. So yeah, that's a little bit of a pet peeve of mine, like how this is set up sometimes. Maybe the blog goal worksheet page is one. There you go. So this is more up to date as far as how it looks. And I'll preview it so you can see. So yeah, it's like a super nice page, right? Like I have my image here. People can sign up for my freebie, and super easy. I didn't even have to go to a different landing page tool to do this. It's already in ConvertKit. So that's something you can do in ConvertKit. But the big thing that I like about ConvertKit here is that they have automations, right? So when someone signs up for my sponsored posts form, it automatically puts them into this I guess they call it an automation in ConvertKit, where they automatically start getting things. So they get tagged with this specific tag, and then it puts them into an email sequence. So here I can click on this so you can see what this looks like. So I show them, like, hey, here is the list of influencer networks that you asked for. They're getting it automatically, so I don't have to worry about them actually getting it, or me sending it out manually, because they're getting it automatically. And then after they get added to that, I get them another tag and they go into a different funnel where I tell them more about myself, and then it leads them into my webinar that I have that talks more about blogging, because I know they're interested in blogging because they signed up for my blogging lead magnet. So it's really cool that it allows you to do this and just be able to do some really advanced things. Here, I'll show you an example of another sequence I have that's more complicated, but you can make sequences that say, like, okay, this person registered for my webinar, or this one came. So if someone comes from my sponsored post list, they get automatically added here, and then it waits a day, and then it starts separating them out. Did this person actually register for my webinar? If they did, and they got an attended tag, then they start going down a different path. But if they did not, then I start pitching them on something else that makes more sense because they didn't go to the webinar. But if they did go to the webinar, then they start getting these. And if they signed up but didn't go to the webinar, now they're in a different campaign altogether and getting different emails. And it's a different path for each one, but eventually, depending on what they clicked, if they signed up for something, it's going to eventually put them into my newsletter so that they're getting my regular correspondences on a regular basis. But yeah, it can get really complicated. And this is something that's automatically included with the paid subscription for ConvertKit. So yeah, I'm a big fan of ConvertKit. I've had them for years. They're probably the email platform I've used the longest compared to some other email marketing platforms, because they're always updating, they're always changing things and making it so it's easier for me to use as a blogger. So Yeah, I'll share some things with you guys. I'm gonna stop sharing here. There we go. I'll share some things with you guys so that you can check some more of these things out on your own. I'm gonna share a link to my affiliate link for ConvertKit because I love them and they're awesome. And they can do a lot of things within blogging, and it's very user friendly when it comes to blogging stuff. So I have my affiliate link here for ConvertKit if you want to check that out. I'm also going to share a link to my Blogging Money Formula course, which is typically not open, but I am going to share it with you guys because I did just have it open recently for Black Friday. And I think it's a good opportunity for y'all to check it out and sign up for it if you'd like. There's some good information there, and I'm always available to answer some questions that you may have in regard to the course. So that is an option too. And let me grab that link for you guys. But I hope that this was helpful in regard to a lot of the questions that I got from you guys. I really enjoyed how engaged you guys were and how many questions you gave me. And a cool thing about next month is, since it's a holiday, I'm going to do my Q&A a little bit early. So you'll see me in a couple of weeks, actually. That's the link for you to check out Blogging Money Formula. If you are interested in signing up for it, go for it. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to send me an email to team@bloggingmoneylife.com, and I'll make sure to get answers to you if you have any questions about the course at all before you sign up. Had another message from Selfless Esteems. It's great info. Please, one more question about reposting with a new date. Do you request Google Search Console to index the URL again? Whoa, good question. And man, you are advanced that you're submitting it to Google Search Console. Yes, and yes, you do submit it to Google Search Console again. Now, my thought is, because this is an article that's already doing well on your site or getting traffic, that's why you're updating it, right? It's already going to get picked up by Google. They're not going to miss this one. But just to be safe, you want to make sure that it gets to Google. So yes, I absolutely update it to Google Search Console every time. Actually, whenever you submit a link to Google Search Console and it says that, hey, we saw that this link is already being crawled by us, but did you make changes to the page? They actually ask that question because they want to encourage you to add articles that have been updated to Google Search Console as well. So yeah, definitely submit it to Google Search Console again. And yeah, really, really good question, Selfless Esteem. For those of you who don't know, after you publish an article, you should definitely submit it to Google Search Console to index it. If you don't know what that is, it's a free tool, just like Google Analytics is free. And it pretty much helps you with getting more organic traffic to your blog. And it doesn't cost anything. It's amazing. So definitely sign up for it. Go in there, just check it out and see what it's all about. And let me know if you have more questions. Good question, Selfless Esteem. Thanks to everyone who showed up. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate all your great questions. And I will see you guys in a couple of weeks for the December Q&A. So see you guys next time.